Hi, Trevor here, Life Reflection Requests. Welcome and thank you for stopping by. It's fantastic you are here. Well, yes, we're not quite getting onto the series. I think we're up to David Guetta, so he'll be coming up in a little while. But I was in conversation with a guy last night and he said to me, "Did you know that Dusty Hill died?" And I thought, oh, no, I didn't. So I suppose and given that loss to the music industry, I thought I'd do this request today. Now, these guys were formed in 1969 in Houston, Texas. The three of them, Billy Gibbons on guitar, very much a bluesy style, incredible singing, backed by Dusty Hill and Frank Beard as bass and drums, and we had ZZ Top. Now, it's quite funny because ZZ Top, their image is very much the long beard, matching long beards, and the guitars and the movement and sync and all that sort of thing. But it's quite funny that Frank Beard, the drummer, who didn't have a beard, his last name's Beard. That's quite funny, I'm thinking. First of all, before I go on, my deepest condolences to the Hill family and also to Billy and Frank, who've lost a real mate here. And the world's just kind of paused just for a little minute to know that the bass player of ZZ Top is no longer with us. It's also quite good that I'm getting to do this request because, as you know, probably if you've been following me, is that I do my artists in alphabetical order, and given ZZ Top starts with Z, it would be a while till I got there, so it's kind of nice to be able to do these guys today because it's really quite poignant today thinking that Dusty's no longer with us. Now, as I said, very much blues rock with an incredible tight rhythm section made these guys so compelling. And between 1971 and 2012, there were 15 studio albums, 4 live albums, 7 compilation albums, and 44 singles. It's estimated they've sold about 25 million albums in the US alone. That's not worldwide. And amongst those, that discography, we've got 6 #1 singles, 4 gold albums, 3 platinum albums, 2 multi-platinum albums, and 1 diamond albums. Now, I first met ZZ Top, I suppose, in the 1980s with that iconic red car that featured in so many videos, and it tended to be there just in the right moment and would save people in all sorts of situations. It was really cool because you never knew you were hanging out for the next ZZ Top video because you wanted to see what was going to happen with the red car, and certainly the car was involved in all kind of rescues. Let's just put it like that. So a little bit more about ZZ Top. First of all, yeah, they've won a lot of music video awards from VMA because their videos were quite iconic and recognisable. They were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2004. They were inducted onto the Hollywood Rock Walk in 1994, and the mayor or governor of Texas came out and proclaimed the 4th of May 1991 as an official ZZ Top Day. And they're official heroes of Texas. So there we go. I suppose that's very much brings the southern twang and look of these guys into focus because these guys are from Texas. So I first met ZZ Top, I suppose, in the 1980s around the iconic Eliminator and Afterburner albums. And that's certainly when the red car was well and truly making its mark in music videos. Music videos are well and truly a thing by then. And the car would just kind of rock up to things and be there at the right moment and shake things up a little bit. As part of the red car, there were often 3 really good-looking girls that would get out and do various bits and pieces, often getting alongside those that weren't so cool and making them cool. That's kind of a really good thing about these videos. And so I think the car at some point gets into space, and I'm thinking at some point there are a couple of clips where the car leaves the planet, and there's another bit of a clip where the exhaust kind of goes into space. So I'm thinking there was a bit of a transition there to the next part of their career. Because the great thing about ZZ Top is that they weren't scared to reinvent themselves, going from straight blues to more a bit, I suppose, electro pop rock sort of stuff. They weren't scared to shake it up a bit, and that's why these guys were successful for so long. Now, when I think of ZZ Top, there's one song in particular. I mean, there's many songs we could go to. Legs, Sharp Dressed Man, Give Me All Your Loving, Poor Boy, just to name a few. But I think my favourite ZZ Top song would be Stages. This came off the 1985 album Eliminator. Now, and like the start of this clip is quite interestingly. So what we see is we see an exhaust pipe just going off into the distance in space. And so really what I think what ZZ Top were telling the world at this stage, I'm just guessing here a little bit, is that the red car was kind of leaving the world a bit. Because in Sleeping Bag, which we're getting onto as well, the car just gets launched into space. Given these songs came around the same time, I wonder if there might be a bit of a connection here. Stages of life is interesting. We start off with as babies, then as we're in between 0 to 5, we're like, learning about the world, and we go to school and we learn school, and they go to the teenage years, we're trying to work out what life's about and what our place in the world is. Then we start a working career. We've got to work out what we want to do first. We'll get our working career. There might be family and wives and husbands, and then we get into our retirement years. I think quite often when we look at the complete stage of life, what we fail to recognise, I think sometimes, is that we've got to appreciate the stage of life we are in right now. Now, stage can be, for me, I suppose I've got 3 adult children, so that's the stage of life I'm in. I remember a stage of life when there were no children. I remember a stage of life when I was at uni, a stage of life when we were building our house, and a stage of life now where I don't have to work quite as much because, life's about balance. But life is about stages. We go through them. And at some point, we need to move on from one stage because it no longer fits and no longer a part of who we are. We might hang on to those stages and think, this is really, really cool, but just something inside just says, it's not really working anymore. And so the next stage begins. But the great thing about life is, and I've said this before, is that life experience will always be there through all of these stages, and whether it's good stuff or bad stuff or just whatever stuff, we put all of the learnings that we have learnt through life into what I class as a suitcase that we carry with us. Because let's not discount our life experience no matter where it's come from, because life experience is life experience. There is always something we can learn from life experience. And I'm thinking for ZZ Top in particular, these guys understood what it meant to be in the music industry for as long as they did. 1971 to 2012 is a very, very long time. Let me think, that's 42, 43 years of albums. And of course, Dusty Hill only dying in 2021. There's another 9 years of stuff after that. So these guys are around for a very, very long time. In fact, if I think about it, it's kind of 50 years almost. So that's a pretty amazing effort. Now, to be in our music industry, which is as fickle and as temperamental as it is, that gets to show that they were doing something right. They realised that, the iconic Lagrange stage of their career needed to transition to the more the pop-orientated 80s. And these guys were able to reinvent themselves, but they kept the iconic blues guitar style all the way through their career. And so ZZ Top in that way are a little bit of an inspiration. We can take a lot from these guys about how they were able to change with the times. And us as human beings also need to change with the times. And so I trust that will all be an encouragement for you today. And again, my condolences to the ZZ Top team and to the Hill family in particular. A bit of a loss of late. So I thought what I'd do with ZZ Top, even though I've talked about stages, let's put the songs in a little bit of an order here. We've got Lagrange. Now, when you talk about ZZ Top, you've got to talk about this song as well. This is one of the that one, that one. So when you think about ZZ Top, that's a song you think of. It's a famous song of theirs. Came out in 1973, right back near the beginning of their career. off the album Tres Hombres. Again, a bit of a nod to their Texas roots there, and that's a live version, so it's always good to see live bands in their live action, that is for sure. And I thought then we'll go to Sleeping Bag. Now, I reckon there's an order with these videos. So Sleeping Bag comes first. This very much got into their pop period with loops and the rest of it, but there's still blues in there. The guitar is very, very recognisable here. This came off the 1986 album Afterburner. Eliminator and Afterburner came out very quickly with each other. And then it tended to be single releases between all of those in different periods. And so Sleeping Bag is very much, you'll see the red car here, coming to the rescue of a damsel in distress. And it's quite cool to see ZZ Top and they're doing the whole, we're going to create the bridge and the slant ends and all the rest of it. And so again, VMA Music Video Awards for these guys' clips, and this is no exception of an incredible story being told of the song Sleeping Bag. Very much getting into the whole retro dance type of feel. ZZ Top just nailed it. And as I've said, at the end of this clip, we see the iconic red car being shot up into the space. And I'm wondering whether that is the start of the next clip I'm going to talk about, which is Stages, which is the song I've talked about mainly today, of the 1985 album Eliminator. But these singles are all kind of released a little bit in order. And the first thing we see is the exhaust going off into space. So I'm just wondering whether we're always saying goodbye to the car at this point. Very much going along with the Stages theme of this song. This is probably my favourite ZZ Top song, and it's his official clip on this one, and I just love the way this one sounds. And I thought I'd put a bit of a bonus in here for you guys as well. I've never thought I'd do this, but I'm going to do it today. A band I was in back in the 1990s. This is a song we absolutely loved to cover, and we really love this one. It showed us off to its actual, it showed us off really, really well. And the fact we all just moved together so well. So what I've actually put in here, just as a bonus, is a live version of the band I was in covering Stages. Now, this is at a particular open day, so it's not particularly close, but it sounds pretty good. And the guy with the white shirt and the waistcoat and the black hair on keyboards, well, that's me. And my face wasn't in agony in this particular clip, because as it often is when I'm playing, I was enjoying myself well and truly at this point. So as a bit of a bonus, we've got the official ZZ Top clip of Stages, and then we've also got the band I was in live version of Stages for you to check out. So the links to all of those 4 songs are in the description below. Well, there have been a few requests made of late, and so you might see a few more popping up from time to time. As I going to share on my next video about why life reflections through music, you'll note that we kind of have a series of life reflection through music and requests happening at the same time. Requests kind of just sneak their way in there between the series. And so until next time, and by the way, thanks to everybody for hanging around to the end, and thank you to the guy who requested ZZ's Top today. So that's it for today. Until next time, I'll catch you around. Bye for now.